Hey folks, I actually kind of want to bring you along with one of the things that I'm working on today, which is, parts of my Patriot Myth projects, and it is about identifying individuals, unknown individuals who can help us get through a deeper and more rich understanding of issues and actors that need to be reconsidered to get us to a more accurate and authentic understanding of the American Revolution and the wars for independence, and then sort of what came later. And so I'm sort of working on identifying those individuals who can get us there, but people who you might not really know of, or if you do, you probably don't know about them in an accurate way. I mean, people like William Franklin, right? We can go deeper into him. Benedict Arnold, we can go deeper into him. Phyllis Wheatley, we can go deeper into her. Mary Brandt, people like that. Mary Jones, one of my favorites. Nancy Dixon. But what I was just getting on, and I kind of want your thoughts about, is all of this is about joining me and our team in a reconsideration of these people, as a way to situate our audiences in the lived experience of those moments, to try to trace it through the experience of these people, and then see how you might relate to that, how you might see yourself in that, how you might see yourself in them, regardless of their status, regardless of their race, regardless of their position in society, that we're not just looking at it through the lens of this radical group of white patriots. We've got to look at all of these other folks who had to make tough choices and were faced with difficult challenges. But one of them I'm looking at today is Benjamin Church. And I kind of want to get your thoughts on Benjamin Church and people like him. Now, I'm not inclined to introduce more white guys into this story, as you might expect. But for an organic approach to sort of breaking down the Patriot myth, or reintroducing a more authentic understanding of the American Revolution and the War for Independence, then we kind of can't avoid it. Especially if there are people who the Patriot myth has distorted so completely out of the story, right? Benjamin Church, to the extent he's remembered at all, is that he's a traitor, right? He's the first of the major traitors. But what I was thinking about, but otherwise his name has been all but erased from the Revolution and the wars for independence. Yet Benjamin Church, he's another one of these young guys, right? I mean, he's a doctor, but he graduated from Harvard in 1754. So he's in his late 20s when the Revolution really picks up steam in that decade after the end of the 7 Years' War. And he becomes a patriot leader in Boston among the radicals, among the Sons of Liberty. That's Benjamin Church. He was a skilled writer, a skilled orator. He was a poet. He was central to the resistance against British overreach in the 1760s and 1770s. He was central in the arguments against a taxation without representation. I mean, he plays a core role in this thing. But here's the thing, is that Church didn't follow the more radical patriots into deeper radicalism, particularly when they started acting out on that radicalism, when it started involving more and more people, in a way that was almost inscrutable. So when the movement shifted from dissent to outright rebellion and violence, then he hesitates. And so his story, marked by his later actions as a spy, and it forces us to ask hard questions, and it's these kind of questions that I really want us to ask. What happens to someone who believes in reform, but not rebellion? They believe in opposition, but not violence. How do we reconcile early leadership? Again, he's a key Boston radical, with later dissent. And how can we call someone a traitor if their loyalty to the earlier version never wavered? And this is what Adams was getting at, or at least implied in his discussion that I follow, about the Revolution being different from the wars for independence. That can we call someone a traitor if they remain loyal to the American Revolution as he saw it, as he argued for it, as he worked for it, and that vision never changes? What are they a traitor to? So if Benjamin Church wasn't just a spy or a traitor, but if he's caught between these competing visions of freedom, but they both demand total allegiance, right? Particularly as radical patriots are drawing lines in the sand, and they're doing it in violent ways. They're throwing people like Mary Jones' brother Josiah Jones in jail for differing from people in political opinions. No trial, no sentence. His offense? He disagreed with the Patriots. Even though he never admitted to disagreeing with them, they decided that he disagreed with them. So they threw him into jail for an indefinite period of time. So Benjamin Church, in a similar way, opens up some uncomfortable truths about the revolution for the Patriot myth crowd. Because it's challenging. It is an unwelcoming discussion. But that's what makes it worth exploring to me. So drop your thoughts below. Join me in the comments. And let's talk about the complicated, messy, human side of the revolution and the wars for independence that we rarely see. And why don't we see them? Because they have been locked away into the cabinet of Patriot mythology for 250 years.